Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about all the different systems that I want to put in our Panda. Since we can't really go outside, do much on the car because we're waiting on parts, that left me to at least do this. I'm going to take my time to just explain to you how we're going to go through all these different systems, and hopefully I'm going to explain them to them on this whiteboard, and let's see from there. Roll the intro. We're going to be doing this one video at a time. Every video we're going to explain one system, trying to just explain it as best as I can so that you can get an idea of what's to come on this channel. We are going to be having quite different systems, and by different I mean some interesting, some innovative, and some quite just outrageous. At least from the normal viewed side of things, but we'll get to that point when we get there. Subscribe if you're interested. So, the first system that we're going to be talking about today is going to be So I said this in my previous video. There was a point where the Panda got onto only two wheels, and as soon as that happened, the two wheels that weren't touching the ground immediately started spinning. And that's because the Panda it is four-wheel drive, but the two differentials, the front and the back differential, are open differentials. What that means is just that, let's just say this is the pinion in the back. And this is our pinion gear. Sorry, our ring gear. This is where our diff sits. All the spider gears inside here. And these are our axles. And so the power comes in through here and it spins this that way, which spins this way, which sends power to the two axles. But the two axles are not linked to one another. They're actually resting on these internal spider gears, which allow the differential to actually spin the two shafts independently to one another. And this is just to allow the car to turn. Because going into a corner, if you think about it, your outside tire is going to have to do a way longer arch around that corner to actually meet up with the other tire on the other side, so it's going to just have to spin more times than this one. So, because of that, we have open differentials. That's wonderful when you're driving off-road, but as soon as you start going off-road, the tire that has the least resistance is just going to start spinning. So, how do we fix this? Usually you would have a locking differential in here. You can have also auto locking differentials, mechanical or hydraulic or electronic differential basically all work in the same way. They either block the spider gears here, or they actually just lock the whole differential casing to the outside shafts, and that basically just becomes a big spool. That's just what a differential is called when it doesn't have any spider gears, and it's just straight, fixed everything. Yeah, so we have an open differential, both in the front and in the back. And the only people who offer something that would fix that only would fix the rear differential. What I've been thinking up is we were talking about before, the wheel that has the least resistance will be the wheel that starts spinning. It'll start just not propelling you forward, and the wheel that actually is on the ground is just going to sit there. But if we manage to bear with me, guys, eh? That's the brake. We could effectively put resistance on the wheel that doesn't have resistance to make the differential think that this wheel is actually having traction, even though it might be sticking up into the air. So if we block this wheel while it's spinning, the power will go straight back to the other wheel. Alright, well that pretty much solves the problem, right? Well, there's a lot that we will need to do to be able to brake these wheels independently. These wheels, to brake them independently, the only way that I've come up is by using an ABS system. What's an ABS system? It's just anti-lock brakes. Pretty much every single car past 1990 something have them. It's been a feature that's been in cars for such a long time. Wouldn't be difficult to find a system that does this. And what this anti-lock braking system is basically just an interface that sits in between your master cylinder, your brake master cylinder, and your brakes, and it controls the flow through little valves, basically. So if this is the valve, this is the valve here, and it can plunge inside. Can plunge inside here if it comes down far enough, blocks off the flow of brake fluid, and if it opens up, it goes up here, then it lets it pass, and it's like if it's and then there's another port up here. This is just like 3D. This is not representing any particular ABS system. It's just to give you an idea of how it works. If we plunge that plunger to the bottom here, it will bleed the excess pressure back to the master cylinder. So it has 3 positions for every brake on the car. So that basically gives us 12 different positions for these valves inside of these ABS systems. One is completely open, one is blocked, and the other one just bleeds the excess pressure back to the master cylinder. Alright, so we've gotten this far. But how do we control it? So I plan on controlling this with an Arduino and just a sketch, or if for you who don't know what an Arduino is, it's just a little tiny microprocessor controller which runs on an Arduino firmware, I guess, like platform. It's pretty simple to get your head around using this platform. It's not like coding in C++ or anything like that, but I've been able to get my head around it, especially with Speedoino and things like that, because it runs on that platform. But it wouldn't be too difficult to make a controller that can can operate these valves and break every different break independently. So what we will need to do is somewhere on this axle, no, sorry, not on the axle, on this hub somewhere, we're going to have to install okay, that's going to be so difficult to do. So that's basically a trigger wheel. I hope you can understand that. And that's just going to have a Hall effect sensor or something here with 2-3 wires coming out that will tell the Arduino what speed every wheel is at, and it can compare that to every other wheel or every other wheel on that axle, because we do have a complete 50-50 split at the gearbox of the power. We're not gonna need to control the speed of every wheel compared to every other wheel, but just to every wheel on the same axle, if you understand what I'm meaning. Anyway, when this wheel is spinning faster than the other wheel, the Arduino can sense that and tell the ABS system that it wants pressure sent to the wheel that's spinning the fastest. And with that, you basically have it. There are a few things that we're going to be needing to take into consideration. One of them being that the Panda has drum brakes in the back, and that's not really ideal. You'd want, a better braking force than brake shoes and drums. So we're probably going to be exchanging the rear brakes for Alpha 145 or 146 rear brakes. And another thing that we're going to have to take into consideration is the pressure that has to come from this side here. So we can do that in a few different ways. A lot of different ABS systems come with a pump that can actually supply pressure, but it sounds like a lot of fiddling around with PWM or pulse modulation, pulse width modulation for modulating how much the pump actually pressurizes and how much it sends down. So I actually think that we're going to be doing this one of two ways, depending on if brakes can work backwards, I guess. So what I mean by that is that if we put, say, like one of those, drift, one of those, what are they called? Oh my god. One of those, hydraulic handbrakes. Yeah, that's all I think of. Just an hydraulic handbrake that pushes, with a master cylinder that pushes the fluid in here when we feel that the car is, losing traction. We can just have a lever, pull back on that. We could modulate how much pressure is going to the wheels, so we don't have massive stress going through the wheels. We can let it slip a little bit, and so we would just have a T-fitting basically on the brake line. One going to the actual master cylinder on your brake pedal, and one going to the hydraulic handbrake. But do brakes work backwards? In the sense that if I send pressure down this line with my hydraulic handbrake, will it just go in this direction into the brake, or will it also go back into my master cylinder and pressurize all of my other brakes? I don't know this. I don't know if actually it can go past, or if there's a check valve somewhere that won't allow that. But in case that's the case, sorry for the play on words there, we could actually fit this to our brake pedal. Just say that's your brake pedal. We could actually fit this ABS system to the brake pedal, so that we could just flip a switch when we don't need it and just have this ABS system always open, so that the fluid can go to every brake equally. Or we can just flip a switch back on and tell the Arduino that we wanted to control the different brakes to get us out of a difficult situation. That's my idea. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys can use it in your projects. Feel free to do so. I would love to see this idea. It's not that it's not being done. It's only being done by Volkswagen and Subaru, but they do it more on a dynamic kind of stability control, torque vectoring system, and that just breaks the inside tires when you're turning to make it easier for the car to turn. It doesn't actually help you in mud or snow and things like that. And you can don't quote me on this, but I really haven't seen many Subarus do too good, or too many Volkswagen do too good in the snow here around. So this is my idea. I'm sure that the only thing you need is an ABS system. ABS system that comes with all the valves and stuff, a few brake lines to do all the plumbing, 4 sensors, 4 trigger wheels, and you're golden on a hydraulic handbrake. I think you could get that for all under €100, easy. So instead of spending €1,000 and getting only one diff lock, we're actually going to be spending around €100 and getting both front and rear diff locking action. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.